Hey guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and let us know in the comments what you think about our videos. And if there's anything you want to see us talk about, then please let us know.
Hello YouTube, it's Jeff with Scared City Productions again. Normally this is a video that Scott would do because we're going to take care of some unfinished business here, but Scott's a little under the weather right now, so he went ahead and let me do this. We announced a contest a while back. We realized we haven't announced a winner yet. We have 2 all haunts passes to give away to 2 individuals. These are $35 values. It lets you get into our haunted house and experience all 6 of our attractions all one night. And we have our 2 winners now. Stephanie Cruz and Brianna Kiplinger. I hope I'm saying your names right. Congratulations to both of you. You're both going to get a free all haunts pass. That'll get you into all 6 of our attractions. We will be open every night starting Thursday, this coming Thursday, October the 25th, 2018, all the way to Halloween. So you've got from then until Halloween night to be able to use your passes. That includes Friday and Saturday night when we have our celebrity guest, Santiago Cirillo, come out, do a meet and greet. He'll actually go through the haunted houses with you if you ask him to. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. We've actually gotten to the point now where Santiago, we just like having him out there. It doesn't matter whether he was a celebrity guest or not anymore. He just has so much enthusiasm and positivity and energy, the energy that he has. He just injects so much into the atmosphere. You just have to see what I'm talking about. You have to meet him and experience it just to understand what I'm saying. Congratulations to Stephanie and Brianna. We're very glad that you participated and took part in it. We're looking forward to seeing you come by. This next part, I've never done anything like this before. None of us have. I wanted to give a quick review of the new 2018 Halloween movie. This was definitely a movie that I was looking forward to coming out for a while. Let me start off by saying when the first movie came out, I was a little kid, so I would kind of sneak up and turn on HBO when I was a little kid when everybody was asleep so I could watch Michael Myers go through and do his thing. Sorry Mom, sorry Dad. Michael Myers was a horror icon, and in many ways I'm sure he was to a lot of other people, and he absolutely changed the whole horror genre of how horror movies and slasher flicks were presented. Not only did we have this menacing terror, this unstoppable force in many ways, but we also had the strong female character in Jamie Lee Curtis, who played Laurie Strode, who actually fought for her life. She wasn't a stupid little bimbo that just stood there and let get hacked up or whatever. So when they said 2018 they were going to come out with another Halloween movie that was going to be a direct sequel to that movie, I kind of got excited, especially when we found out that John Carpenter was going to be involved and Nick Castle was coming back to reprise his role as the Shape. Guys, I got to level with you. My opinion of this, it was a good movie. It was well worth watching, but I don't think they hit it out of the park with this one. I'm going to try to give some warnings here to let you know when I'm giving spoilers here, and I'll try to save the spoilers towards the end so that those of you who don't want to know what's going on, you don't have to worry about me giving anything away. But I will talk about certain plot points that I really have problems with, certain things that they did that I liked, certain things I didn't. The movie starts off with 2 podcasters, Aaron Corey and Dana Haynes, who come out to interview Michael Myers while he is in this institution, keeping in mind that all of the sequels at this point in time didn't happen on this particular timeline, which I think most of you already know. But just because they didn't exist in this timeline doesn't mean that they'll pay tribute to those movies that came before it. Anyway, these 2 podcasters come out, they try to visit with Michael Myers, try to get his side of the story. Of course, Michael Myers hasn't spoken a word since he was a little boy, so they don't really get a whole lot out of him. Michael Myers is now an aging man. He's not a 20-year-old kid anymore. He's showing signs of his human side. He's not completely a supernatural force. He is showing signs of aging, which means in time he is going to die. But at this point in time, he's been locked up this whole time after murdering all of these kids in Haddonfield. Well, okay, in Haddonfield it was only 3 kids. Meanwhile, Laurie Strode has been spending most of her life trying to grapple with the fact that she was attacked by this crazy man when she was a kid for reasons she, at this point in time, has no idea why. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, there wasn't all of this psychological care that you could just go out and get in the event that you had a terrible situation happen to you. PTSD wasn't a thing. You were just told to get over it. So once Laurie Strode had healed up from her injuries and went to the hospital, got fixed up, say, okay, kid, you're back on the road. And the mental anguish that comes from being attacked and nearly killed by a serial killer is not something that was ever dealt with. You were just expected to deal with that on your own. Laurie Strode didn't handle it very well in this particular movie. She's been through 2 divorces. She had 1 kid, her daughter Karen, who also had a granddaughter, Allison. So there's 3 of them now. And each one of them has suffered to a certain degree because of Michael Myers and his attack on Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode has spent the last 40 years trying to prep for this. She knew that eventually she was going to face him down. She knew in over 40 years she was praying for him to escape. She wanted to kill him, whereas her daughter Karen had to suffer with that while she was growing up. Allison, of course, being the granddaughter, she was kind of separated from all of that, so she didn't have to deal with all of that stuff. Will Patton plays Officer Hawkins, who's kind of like the equal of Sheriff Brackett from the original movie. The movie was directed by David Gordon Green, one of his first ever horror movies. He had help from John Carpenter, who was a seasoned horror movie maker. I think I had a lot of expectations, very high expectations, maybe a little unrealistically, because I really wanted to see this movie pan out into something awesome because of the way it was pieced together and the people who were going to be involved. And to me, it just didn't rise up to that level that I wanted it to be at. It was a good movie. It was worth watching. It was definitely good to go and see, and Michael Myers doing his thing again. The ending left me feeling a little empty. Kind of felt like I was kind of hanging a little bit. Okay, I want to start getting into some of the things that I really liked. This is going to have some spoilers in it, so if you don't want to know any more, just know that I thought it was a good movie. It was not a great movie, and I'm about to explain why, but I can't explain why without going into the spoilers. So if you don't want to know what happens, might as well shut the video off. Thanks for watching. Glad you came. Congratulations to our winners. Have a nice day. For those of you who are still with me, first of all, I'm going to start off with a few things that I liked. I loved that Nick Castle came back and was reprising the role of the Sheriff. That was a big thing to me. Even though James Jude Courtney did most of the Michael Myers stuff, Nick Castle was a part of it, and that was a big deal to me. I was glad to see him back. When you first get into it, there's a lot of nostalgia. I was really excited about it, even right down to the intro where they bring back the pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern from the first movie. It's actually a really neat sequence. The font's all the same, colors all the same. I mean, we're going right back to basics. Good old-fashioned Michael Myers. There's loads of nostalgia in this movie, almost too much. I'll get into that in a minute, but there's a lot of stuff in there where they go back to the original film and play off of a lot of the stuff that was in there, because this was supposed to be the original, real, true sequel, even though there were a whole bunch of other sequels that were pretending didn't happen and that this is the only sequel there is. The timelines are starting to get confusing. Anyway, one of my personal favorite things about this movie is that Michael Myers is Michael Myers again. One of my biggest complaints when I first saw Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, back in the theaters, was that he was no longer Michael Myers. He was more like a Jason Voorhees in a different costume. This is Michael. They brought him back. He is definitely the trickster, the guy who is theatrical. He loves not only wiping people out, but he loves to display his handiwork, and he takes pleasure in it. And we do finally, at the end of the movie, we finally get the big showdown between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. But not just Laurie Strode. You get Laurie Strode, Karen and Allison going at Michael Myers, and they finally get to face their fears. Karen gets to see that her mom was right all along about all of the stuff that she told her about when she was a kid. Karen was removed from her home from Laurie by CPS because Laurie Strode was stockpiling weapons and preparing and teaching her how to defend herself and shoot guns and all this other stuff to try to protect her later on down the line if she ever ran into Michael Myers. Allison's kind of removed from it. She was not personally involved, so of course Allison sees her grandma as somebody she wants to connect with, even though she's heard all the stories, of course, from Karen, who says, look, you don't need to mess with this woman, she's whatever. And then she makes lies to try to cover up, say, yeah, I told your grandma that we were going to go eat and I invited her to come along, but you know how your grandma is. And then you find out, well, she didn't actually talk to Laurie Strode, she actually just made it up because she didn't want her to come along. Problems that I have with the movie. First of all, right off the bat, podcasters show up. These folks may have been world-class, top-notch investigative journalists, podcasters. My first question is, how did these guys get a hold of the mask? They said, I've got a friend down at the Attorney General's office that let me borrow this mask. Here it is. Take a look, guys. They don't just let you borrow crime scene evidence like that and carry it in a purse. It's not even in a protective bag or anything. It's not even in an evidence bag. It's not marked. They just walked out with a freaking mask that's substantial evidence to the crimes that Michael Myers committed. But even in this movie, you can argue that Michael Myers killed far more people than what they let on, because he had to kill a lot more people just to get out of Smith's Grove Sanitarium to make his escape. He also killed a few people along the way, including the guy along the way that had the red truck that Michael killed to get the coveralls from. But anyway, there's another thing that I didn't like about the intro scene. There would be humanitarian groups that would go nuts, even though these people were supposedly the worst of the worst, criminally insane, locked away for life. They're chains of blocks outside to get their fresh air and free time. Guys, I don't see that being possible nowadays with the way criminals have more rights than people do, and somebody would have had something to say about giving somebody their free time outside by chaining to a block. There's the twist of the doctor. Dr. Sarton is supposed to be the new Loomis. In fact, that's how Laurie Strode first comes out, which is another minor problem that I had, because Laurie Strode was so up on what Michael Myers was doing, where he was and what was happening, that she knew the exact date and time of when he was supposed to be transferred out of his current institution and moved to the new one where he was going to live out the rest of his days until he died. But she comes up and says to Dr. Sarton, so you're the new Loomis, or you're the new Dr. Loomis. Well, here's the problem. The guy also says that he dedicated his life trying to reach or understand or treat Michael Myers. He became obsessed with it. Well, Michael Myers has been locked up for 40 years. Dr. Loomis passes away, and then this guy comes in, Dr. Sarton, takes over and makes a career out of this guy. So he's not a new Dr. Loomis anything. He's been there for a long time. Might be the first time that Laurie Strode met him. Maybe. But you would at least know who he was, what he was all about. Another question that just really didn't get answered very well to me, which maybe it wasn't supposed to be. Why is Michael so determined to kill Laurie Strode if they're not relatives? The idea behind it is that a serial killer is more frightening, more terrifying if you don't know what their motives are, if you don't know why they're acting the way they are, you don't know why they're coming after you. But at the same time, you can argue that, well, it just happened to play out. Michael Myers and Laurie Strode had to have their little showdown at the end of the movie. But you could also say, well, if things had played out a little differently, Laurie Strode would have been sitting at home eating popcorn, watching TV, and wouldn't find out that Michael Myers had even escaped or anything had happened until she was watching the news the next day. You don't have to watch real long to figure out that David Gordon Green is not a seasoned horror director. Of course, everybody's got to get their start somewhere, especially if this is a genre that they're wanting to get into. But at the same time, it's very obvious that this guy is taking on something that he really, I think, is he's biting off more than he can chew. He's taking on an iconic character, and not knowing what you're doing in the horror genre does play out. It does show a lot. A lot of times it doesn't flow real well. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the movie that just doesn't come across very well. A lot of times you've got a lot of stuff going on where there's a lot of plot details that are thrown in. There are some characters that are introduced into this movie where they're just brought in there for nothing more than to make something happen in the plot line. Say for example, Allison, the granddaughter, goes to a dance. She's got this boyfriend that she likes, but she sees the boyfriend kissing another girl, and they get into a fight. There's a big thing that goes on. She ends up losing her cell phone in the process, which the whole thing was just about her losing her cell phone so that nobody could get in touch with her. I wanted to see more of Laurie Strode. I wanted to see her come out and tear Michael Myers up. Granted, it wouldn't be scary if Laurie Strode knew every step of the way what he was going to do from one moment to the next and was able to look him eye to eye, face him toe to toe. And you didn't really get to see much of her. Maybe that was part of the point. Maybe we weren't supposed to see so much of her. I wanted to see the Laurie Strode who had turned into the prepared, meat-eating, no longer the fleeing victim. I wanted to see her be the tough person. I wanted to see her be the one who was ready to fight. She knew what was coming, she knew what was going to happen, and she was ready. Maybe not seeing so much of her makes her seem more tough because you know what she's doing, you know what she's done for the last 40 years, but you don't really know what she's capable of, and maybe that kind of gives her sense of being more ready, more tough, more strong than she even could have seen if you were to see her doing some of the other stuff that she was doing, like firing guns and that sort of thing. But I really wanted to see more of Laurie Strode. I really wanted to see Laurie Strode against Michael Myers, period. Now granted, I did like that Laurie Strode, Karen, and Allison being the family who were all three affected by Michael Myers attacking Laurie so many years ago. And they were all able to come together after being kind of estranged from each other to a certain degree, and all of these different strains to their relationships. Karen remembered her training that Laurie gave her when she was a little girl, even though CPS came and took her away from Laurie because they said it was not normal for her to be teaching her to defend herself to the degree that she was. But I just really wanted to see a lot more of Laurie Strode, and I just didn't get that. Lastly, the ending kind of left me hanging. At one point when Dr. Sarton flips out and murders Officer Hawkins because he wants to see what it feels like to be Michael Myers, and even puts the mask on and that sort of thing, Michael comes back and ends up killing his doctor. And Dr. Hawkins is laying there, and Michael stomps his head like a pumpkin, smashes it, and it's gone. Somebody that strong, you know that he's going to be able to find a way out of that basement. Whole house is on fire. Her whole armory, her whole plan, her whole everything that she had set up off after however many years is up in flames. And you know Michael got away. There's an ending sequence at the end of the credits where you hear Michael Myers' heavy breathing, very iconic. Everybody knows what it is. You know he got away. There's no way he died in that fire. Didn't happen. Even though they outsmarted Michael by bringing him into that bunker, and it ended up not just being a bunker, but it ended up being a trap to put an end to Michael Myers once and for all. No. I guess looking back on H2O, I was really hoping that Laurie Strode would come back and find a way to definitively beat Michael Myers. I'll also go on and say I think they tried a little too hard to put too much nostalgia in it. The nostalgia effort is great to a point, because even in the intro we get to see the iconic intro of Halloween revisited for the first time in 40 years. We get to see the granddaughter Allison sitting down in the classroom, which I found out the teacher later on was a cameo by PJ Souls, which, as you'll remember from the 1978 was Linda learning the exact same lesson that Laurie Strode was learning when she was sitting in high school and looked out the window and saw Michael Myers staring in the window at her. Except this time it wasn't Michael. This time it was Laurie Strode staring in at Alice and her granddaughter. A lot of little nods to other stuff, but I think they put too much nostalgia in this movie. And unfortunately, because they put so much nostalgia in it, I really don't think they put too many fresh things in it. They didn't add enough new to the series, enough new to the storyline. Anyway, that's my take. You can feel free to disagree with me, tell me in the comments what you think, tell me why I'm wrong, and I'd love to come out and tell you, hey, I hadn't thought about that, but you know, if you come up with some other points and things that I hadn't talked about, great. It's just my take on this particular movie. I just feel like it could have been done a lot better. I don't think they hit it out of the park. I feel like it was pieced together poorly. I feel like the story was not presented very well, and I feel like it doesn't really add a whole lot new to the Michael Myers story. But it is a good movie. It is Michael Myers. He's back to being the shape. There's a lot of good things going on here. If I had to rate it, say 3.5 out of 5 stars. Anyway, guys, it's good to see you again. We will definitely be coming back with our season finale when we have Santiago Cirillo at the haunted house with us on Friday and Saturday night. Be sure to catch that. In the meantime, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you think. Disagree with me, tell me I'm an idiot, whatever you want to do. Once again, congratulations to our winners of our All Haunts passes. Don't forget to get in touch with us, guys. We want to be able to get you through our haunted house, you know, on us. We appreciate all of your support. We love you guys. Thanks a bunch. We'll see you next time.